The Messiah testifies, or the Tanakh rather, testifies that the Messiah's bones would be out of joint. Psalm 22:14, I am poured out like water and all my bones are out of joint. After nailing the spikes into the hands, two soldiers would grab both ends of the crossbeam, and somebody else would grab the torso, another would grab the legs or feet, and they would lift the crossbeam, or the vertical beam called the stipes, up. So they would lift the person being crucified up, put the person on the crossbeam, which is called the patibellum, and the body went down until the crossbeam was stopped at the stopping point on the stipes. As you can imagine, this was jolting. The legs here are not nailed at this point, so every newton of the jarring force, every bit of that force in the crossbeam, suddenly stopping, was borne by the arms, shoulders, elbows, not only causing severe pain to shoot down the arms, but exactly as the prophecy stated, it would yank the tendons and the ligaments out of place. Even if this did not take place, physicians and surgeons have stated that the triangular force, which is the pulling from the two wrists plus gravity of a man of approximately 250 pounds with arms flexed at 5 to 10 degrees, would cause 1 ton of force on each arm, which would be borne by the elbows and shoulders. You can sit there, it's okay. You can sit there if you want to. Thank you. The rigid beam, good morning, brother. The rigid beam, the person who was crucified was affixed to would guarantee dislocation of the elbows and shoulders in under 10 minutes, causing the arms to become 6 to 9 inches longer. Now, there are folks that will balk at 1 ton of pressure. There's no way, that couldn't be 1 ton of pressure. But medieval torture racks have been tested and shown to have produced multiple tons of force on many human bodies. Hopefully they weren't alive at the time they were being tested. I'm sure they weren't. But that was the force. Now, if that force could be borne by a human being on a torture rack, it could certainly be borne by somebody being crucified. A few minutes later, the elbows and then the wrists would become dislocated. This is just the arms, guys. It's just the arms. We did a study on the sufferings of Christ before and during the crucifixion. You can see our Regeneration Life YouTube channel where we have a detailed study on the medical explanation of the crucifixion, where you can find this and other information. But as for right now, this is a fulfillment of that prophecy. I am poured out like water, all my bones are out of joint. The Messiah's bones were definitely out of joint. But the Tanakh also testifies that the Messiah's bones were not broken. He keepeth all his bones, not one of them is broken. Now, according to Numbers 9:12, no bone of the Passover sacrifice could be broken. John 19:31 through 36 states this, the Jews therefore, because it was a preparation and the body should not remain upon the cross on the Sabbath day, for that Sabbath day was a high day, besought Pilate that their legs might be broken and that they might be taken away. Then came the soldiers and brake the legs of the first and of the other which was crucified with him. But when they came to Jesus and saw that he was dead already, they brake not his legs. But one of the soldiers with a spear pierced his side, and forthwith came out blood and water. And he that saw, it bare record, and his record is true, and he knoweth that he saith true, that he might believe, for these things are done, that the scripture should be fulfilled, a bone of him shall not be broken. The soldiers came to break the legs of all three, and they broke the legs of the two thieves so that they would not be able to push themselves up to be able to breathe, and they would asphyxiate more quickly. They'd stop breathing. When they came to Jesus, he had already willed himself to die. He gave up the ghost. Into the Father's hands he commended his spirit. So the soldiers, seeing him dead, made sure that he was dead by thrusting the spear into his chest, which, by the way, is evidence that Jesus, in fact, died. And for those who say he wasn't really resurrected, he just swooned, I'm going to say this. People have died from smaller puncture wounds than that. Okay. They saw he was dead and didn't break his legs. No bone of the lamb was broken.